David Walliams is fighting the people who fired him from Britain's Got Talent after he was fired from his £1.5 million a year job as a judge. The comedian is suing production company Freemantle for a lot of money because they fired him from the ITV show in November of last year. Fans of Britain's Got Talent who saw David Walliams in action often called him the best judge the show had ever had. His energy was unmatched and his unique way of judging made contestants feel at ease. But when David suddenly quit the show, everyone was shocked. David Walliams is reportedly suing Britain's Got Talent bosses after being fired from the ITV show. The former Little Britain star is reportedly seeking significant damages after resigning in November, especially after the scandal that caused a stir. Was that really the reason he left, or was there something else? The truth has finally been revealed, but what is the full story? And why are so many people interested in what happened? Join us as we find out what happened to David Walliams from Britain's Got Talent. David Walliams quit Britain's Got Talent after a major scandal that shocked both the show and its viewers. The comedian who had made everyone laugh on the show became the center of the biggest scandal in the history of Britain's Got Talent. It was the worst day of his career and everyone was left wondering what went wrong. The scandal hurt David's reputation and the show's image. Britain's Got Talent had always been known for family-friendly entertainment, but the scandal cast a bad light on the show. Only a few people know how it all started. Stay shocked, we'll give you the short version. David Walliams' downfall began in November 2022, when a shocking recording of him making inappropriate comments about Britain's Got Talent contestants was leaked. This quickly made headlines and sparked discussions on social media, which harmed David's long career on the show. The Guardian was the first to report on the recording, which showed David's inappropriate comments during a January 2020 taping. Walliams quit after being caught. He was caught on camera making rude comments about contestants during a break in filming. In one instance, he called an older performer the C word 3 times. Walliams apologized after the transcript was leaked, saying that his comments were part of a private conversation that was never meant to be broadcast. In that conversation, David was using offensive language to describe an older male contestant. This came as a surprise to many, but what was even more surprising was that David's comments were made in January 2020, but the scandal didn't come to light until November 2022. There was a lot of anger when the scandal finally came out. David was criticized and his job on Britain's Got Talent was no longer safe. Many fans couldn't understand how someone they had admired for so long could have said such hurtful things. The scandal also raised questions about the culture behind the scenes of Britain's Got Talent. Many fans couldn't understand how such behavior could have gone unchecked for so long. But the fact that he was later called out showed that there are consequences for bad behavior and that accountability is important in all parts of life. The recording also showed another shocking comment. David had made inappropriate comments about another contestant, this time a female contestant. As expected, the media quickly picked up the story, with major newspapers like the Daily Mail, The Sun, and The Independent covering it in great detail. The story sparked heated debates on social media, with many fans expressing their deep disappointment. Others defended David, saying that these were private jokes that shouldn't have such harsh consequences and that he was just trying to be funny and didn't mean anything. As public pressure mounted, ITV, the network behind Britain's Got Talent, released an official statement saying that the show would not tolerate any behavior that could hurt or offend contestants. While they didn't name David by name, it was clear that the statement was directed at him. As the backlash grew, David had no choice but to respond. In a surprising turn of events, David released a statement saying he deeply regretted his words. He admitted they were inappropriate and said he never meant to hurt anyone. However, he also stressed that there was no need for David to say sorry because the scandal had already hurt his reputation. Some people accepted his apology and asked for forgiveness, but others said that as a public figure, David should take more responsibility for his words. In a shocking move, David quit Britain's Got Talent just weeks after the scandal broke. But what really happened behind the scenes? ITV never made an official statement about David's firing, but sources within the show said that ITV had held multiple meetings to fire him. After emergency meetings to talk about what happened, it was decided that David could no longer stay on the show. This was a shocking fall from grace for someone who had been a popular judge on the show for so long. It was his fourth book and by far his most successful. From TV comedy to children's fiction, David Walliams got talent. What's even more surprising is that the other judges, including Simon Cowell, Amanda Holden, and Alicia Dixon, didn't say anything about what happened in public. However, some sources say that they were shocked when they found out what David had said on the recording. Simon Cowell was shocked, was close friends with David, and even had a private conversation with him before the final decision was made. In the end, David's replacement on the judging panel was Bruno Tonioli, who had previously been a judge on Strictly Come Dancing. Fans had mixed reactions to this decision right away. While Bruno was an experienced judge, many felt he couldn't bring the same humor to the show that David had. Some fans said that the show had lost a part of its soul when David left. He had been a beloved member of the judging panel, and his funny interactions with contestants had become. David later did something that no one saw coming. He sued the production company behind Britain's Got Talent, Freemantle Media, over a data protection breach. This came after he quit the show in November 2022, after private transcripts of the inappropriate comments he made about contestants in 2020 were leaked. In September 2023, he officially sued Freemantle, saying that the leak of his private conversations was a violation of his rights. By November 2023, the case had been settled out of court, according to reports. People say Walliams got a seven-figure sum, but what has David Walliams been doing in his personal and professional life since leaving Britain's Got Talent? Let's find out. David Walliams' life has been surprisingly private since leaving Britain's Got Talent. He chose to stay quiet, avoiding the media and not responding to rumors. He also didn't say anything else about what happened. After leaving Britain's Got Talent, David almost disappeared from TV screens. There were no more funny antics or lively exchanges. After the 2022 scandal with Simon Cowell, David Walliams lived a quieter, more private life, but that didn't mean he stopped working. After the scandal, major TV networks seemed hesitant to work with David. David Walliams stopped being invited to reality shows and talk shows more often. He also stopped regularly appearing at media events or on popular TV shows. David focused on what he could control, like writing books and making animated movies. Despite the controversy, he remained one of the most successful children's authors in the UK. Books like Gangster Granny, Mr. Stink, and The Boy in the Dress continued to be bestsellers. When David wasn't working on TV shows, he worked on personal projects. He kept writing, grew his publishing career, and started making animated movies based on his stories. In 2023, David Walliams took a break from writing, a big step forward in his career by turning his book Robo-Dog into an animated movie. The movie had voice actors from famous actors, and this was seen as a smart move. Instead of trying to get back to TV and reclaim his old job, David chose to invest in an industry where he had full creative control. This decision started a new chapter in his career after years of hard work. Over 1,000 of his books have been sold around the world, and his stories have been translated into many languages, reaching and captivating generations of readers. People were still interested in David after his divorce from supermodel Lara Stone in 2015. Since then, he hasn't gotten married again or publicly confirmed any new relationships. His marriage to Lara was one of the most talked about in the entertainment world. They met in 2009, fell in love, and got married the next year. Their wedding was a big deal because both David and Lara were famous in their fields. Lara was a top model and David was a comedian and TV star. Their marriage seemed perfect, but it ended suddenly in 2015. The exact reason for their divorce was never fully explained, but sources said that they had very different ideas about their future. David wanted a stable family life, while Lara wanted a more independent and exciting life. Over time, their different ideas caused them to grow apart, and they eventually split up. After the divorce, David decided to focus on his career and his son Alfred, who became his main focus. He rarely shared personal details on social media, but the few times he did, they were all about Alfred. Fans often saw pictures of David taking his son Alfred on vacations or outdoor adventures. No matter how busy he was at work, he always made time for Alfred. Being a single dad had made David more mature and helped him find joy in life. In 2023, a surprising rumor spread about David. He had joined the Raya dating app, which is known for connecting celebrities. Reports said that his profile had photos of him with his two beloved dogs, Bert and Ernie, but David never confirmed or denied the rumor. David denied these claims. Even though he wasn't on reality TV anymore, he still made public appearances and was involved in charity work, especially for kids. That same year, he went to the premiere of RoboDog and talked about how excited he was to see his work adapted for the big screen. When asked about Britain's Got Talent, he chose not to talk about the past and instead focused on his new projects. For people hoping for a big comeback on TV, David seemed happy with his current life, free from the stresses of fame. Many stars have successfully come back from scandals in the entertainment industry, but it took time and the right plan. So far, David hadn't shown any signs of planning a return. He hadn't been in any known reality TV projects, which led many to believe that he had chosen to end that part of his career. But with someone like David, anything could happen. If he came back in a compelling project, people might see him differently. For now, though, he didn't seem to be in a hurry. He had built a solid career that didn't depend on celebrities. Rarely make it back on TV after a major scandal. Walliams is said to have said, "She's like the slightly boring girl you meet in the pub who thinks you want to fuff them but you don't want to fuff them." Charming. Now that he's apologized, I don't think he should be fired from the show. His books kept selling and movies based on his works were still being made. David's journey has been one of hard work, starting from humble beginnings long before he joined Britain's Got Talent. He wasn't famous to begin with, and his rise to fame wasn't easy. Early in his career, David worked hard to build his reputation, starting with stand-up comedy, where his unique style started to get noticed. As time went on, he got more roles on TV that made him a well-known face. His big break came when he joined Britain's Got Talent, where he became a beloved judge. Let's take a quick look back at how David started his career. David Williams Carter Journey was born in London in 1971 as David Edward Williams. David came from a middle-class family. His father was an engineer and his mother was a lab technician. He loved performing from a young age, but it wasn't easy to make it his career. While he was at the University of Bristol, David made a big decision that would change his life. It was a risky move, but fate had a plan. He joined Footlights, Cambridge University's famous comedy troupe known for producing legends like John C. Lee and Stephen Fry. This is where he learned how to write scripts and act without realizing it, but it set the stage for a future that would take him to. During his time with Footlights, David met Matt Lucas, a fellow comedian who shared his love of satire. They hit it off right away and started making small comedy sketches. Little did they know that these performances would one day shape British comedy. Their hard work paid off and they moved from stage shows to radio shows, trying out different characters and performance styles. But their big break didn't come overnight. Years of hard work finally paid off in a moment that changed their careers forever. 2003, David Williams and Matt started the comedy show Little Britain. The show wasn't just for fun, it looked at modern British society by introducing a bunch of strange and outrageous characters. David wasn't just playing normal people, he was changing into a whole new person for each role. From the haughty upper-class people to the strange working-class people, each character had their own personality that made people laugh and sometimes gasp in shock. These characters weren't just funny, they were brave and unpredictable, making people think about the world around them. The show quickly became a hit, drawing fans from all over the world, not just in the UK. But there was another side to it that many people didn't know about. Not everyone found the characters funny. Some viewers thought they were offensive or controversial, which led to debates that only made the show more popular. Despite the criticism, one thing was clear: David Williams had become a well-known name. Despite his success in comedy, David wasn't one to stay in one lane. In 2008, he surprised everyone by writing his first children's book. The Boy in the Dress was a touching story about a boy who loved dresses and his journey toward acceptance. The book was a big hit, showing that David could write stories that weren't just funny. He kept writing and released more bestsellers such as Gangster Granny, Mr. Stink, and Billionaire Boy. His book spoke to young readers by combining humor with important messages about acceptance, kindness, and resilience. His stories were so interesting that they were turned into movies and stage plays, solidifying his reputation as one of the most beloved children's authors. Some authors of his time even compared him to Roald Dahl. David Walliams is famous for his roles in Little Britain and Britain's Got Talent, but he's also made a huge name for himself as a children's author. With 7 best-selling books, he's been compared to his hero Roald Dahl. Even though writing made him famous, David never left the spotlight. He stayed active in comedy and tried different roles, from acting in movies to judging popular TV shows. But even as his career took off, he never forgot the hard times. In his early days, David kept getting turned down. He performed in small bars where no one paid attention. There were times when he wondered if he was really cut out for show business, but he didn't give up. His persistence eventually led him to Britain's Got Talent in 2012, which changed everything. From the moment he joined the show's judging panel, it was clear he was different. Unlike the other judges, especially the notoriously serious Simon Cowell, David brought something unexpected to the table. He told jokes, played pranks, and wasn't afraid to be silly. His outrageous behavior on live TV turned the show into more than just a talent competition. It became a place for unforgettable moments. David didn't just judge contestants based on their skills, he also judged them based on their emotions and offered support to those who weren't particularly good. Sometimes this made Simon mad, but it also made the show more interesting. Simon was cold and calculated, while David was mischievous and unpredictable. One of the most memorable moments was when David kissed Simon on live TV without warning. Even Simon, who was caught off guard, couldn't help but laugh. David didn't stop there. He kept making fun of Simon season after season, even calling him the love of my life in front of millions of viewers. But David wasn't just funny, he had a heart. When a young contestant named Malachi Paul broke down in tears on stage, David didn't hesitate. He stepped down, comforted the boy, and encouraged him to keep going. This touching moment made David more than just a judge, it solidified his role as a mentor. His approach wasn't always welcome, though. Gave a contestant who had been eliminated a second chance, which caused an argument on stage. In another instance, he purposely pressed the golden buzzer for a talentless act to annoy Simon. Some people thought these actions were distracting, while others thought they added to the excitement of the show. Behind the scenes, the fun continued, as David was known for changing Simon's scripts in secret, making him read lines that weren't in them. Even Simon, who was often annoyed, had to admit that David brought a contagious energy to Britain's Got Talent. David filled that void by making the contestants feel at ease, turning awkward moments into comedy and adding a new dynamic to the panel. His influence reached even Amanda Holden and Alicia Dixon, who often found themselves laughing along with his jokes. In one especially funny moment, David convinced Alicia to dance with a contestant that everyone thought would be eliminated. Instead of being embarrassing, it became one of the most talked about moments of the season. David's presence brought in new viewers who watched not only for the talent but also for his personality. David Walliams did more than just judge Britain's Got Talent, he changed it. Did you enjoy David Walliams' time on the show? Would you like to see him come back? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't miss the next video.